welcome to Frack, the console. Today we're going to be talking about a new game that's about to come out, and that's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
The
Have you?
great circle.
Yes, yes, yes. It has to be like a book title, like every Indiana Jones.
I, but it's like like I don't know, like after like some of them sound like bangers, and then you get to the great circle. Like I don't know, it kind of sounds like you're saying like book titles, right? The first three are like reminiscent of who
Yeah,
wrote Da Vinci Code, or is it Kirkman or
yeah,
something? Kirkman,
yeah.
uh, Kirkland maybe, or I don't know. But those are reminiscent of like Da Vinci Code. This one is like reminiscent of like James and the Giant Peach. You know what I mean? Like Indiana Jones, the children's book.
Indiana Jones and the Giant Peach.
Yeah. In this
Yeah.
one, Indy learns how to tie his shoes.
Kid, do you know how to tie your shoe? It's like, because like it sounds like Harrison Ford is voicing this. So like when you get older, your faculties decline. So is this like,
Well, I know. So this isn't Harrison Ford.
okay, well,
It,
it sounds a lot like him.
yeah, like which I think is good. There's like just a little bit hints here and there where I can be like, okay, that's not him. But like, it really does. It really is a good young Harrison Ford impersonation. It's God. I knew this. Is it Nolan? Um,
Oh, the voice of Deadpool?
yeah, slash like the copy of Indiana Jones, in Uncharted.
Oh yeah.
No, let me just look quick. I know it's somebody who does it, who does voice acting a
I'm also looking it up. We are racing.
lot.
Yeah, ladies and gents, we'll be getting to this trailer soon. It's Troy Baker.
Troy Baker. Okay, yeah, but I knew it was one of those, uh, or one of the two guys who does like all the voices.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Troy Baker, and yeah, he's doing a pretty decent
really
Harrison.
good because it fooled me. All right, you got. Well, I'm gonna present it, and that way we
Mhm.
can just both watch it at once. Oh, how funny. Um, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen with sound.
Let me tell you what you are missing, Dr. Jones. While you were playing your pointless game, I was playing you. You're wondering if maybe you should have built yourself a life of meaning instead of ending up here, dead and forgotten in the sense of Africa.
Dude, it looks so good.
Yeah, it looks really good, and it's only gonna get more polished, you know.
Yeah.
Myths, history. Just different ways to interpret the past.
The guy looked like
Years of
Vin Diesel.
humanity's thoughts and beliefs, scattered and buried, just waiting to be found.
You can't just run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me.
Yeah.
Throughout history, mankind has built sites of great spiritual significance. If you were to draw a line through these ancient sites around the world, you get a perfectly aligned circle.
Oh, it's the Freemason stuff.
I've had run-ins with these guys before. Trust me. It ain't a walk in the park.
Okay, then. Let's see if you can keep up.
What do you mean if I keep up?
Whoa, zeros.
Patron
That's so
of
cool.
the fallen angels. Protector of the Chukulimani. The Great Circle. You have any idea how old that was?
Dude, that was a really good trailer.
It is a good trailer. What stands out to me most from the trailer, the sound effect from the punches. Yeah, like I'm like, that is exactly how it sounds like when Indiana Jones punches somebody in the movie. Like it has that sound exactly. You know what I mean?
Specifically Nazis.
Yeah. And I love the little bit where they showed the hopping onto another plane, because that's such a big like Indiana does have like these big like practical like set pieces in each of the Indiana Jones where he's doing some crazy thing, and that just that like fits the motif, I think, for Indiana.
Totally. Yeah. Observation two, those were zeros. Those were Japanese planes. Uh,
Huh.
Mitsubishi zeros, just for reference. And I've never seen Indy cross paths with anyone in the Japanese army, so that's a whole other layer they're adding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
McKen yeah.
They were saying that this is pre in the direct where this trailer comes from. They were saying that this is pre Last Crusade. Um
That doesn't make any sense then. Hold on. Doing some research. When did the last crusade take place? This was like pre-World War II, right? Yeah. The Last Crusade prologue was set in 1912 and then jumps forward to 1938. Yeah, that's still that's early World War II. When did World War II start? Maybe even right before. World War II started in 1939. Yeah. When I'm a big history buff, so like in my brain, I'm like totally picking this apart. When did the Mitsubishi Zero come out? 1940. So this plane should not exist at this moment.
Yeah.
But it's and yeah, but it's I'll forgive it. Like it's not off by that far, but still.
Maybe it's a prototype.
Yeah, it could be. That's always the gaming excuse.
All
Fly a
right.
gun. It's like Battlefield 1, there's a lot of guns that are like full auto submachine guns. And then these were just prototypes. And you feel like everyone's running around with them.
um,
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like everybody's gonna be, and maybe a section of people will be annoyed that this isn't a third person experience.
Oh, like
Um,
Uncharted.
yeah, you know what I mean, like, or like a lot of, you know what I mean, just like licensed games, and it end up being, you know what I mean. They did make it a point to say like that they do like pull back the camera like for several different reasons, like climbing animations, like when you start a level animations, all this stuff, so you can kind of see them, but like not like also you can experience it like as yourself too. I think it feels very authentically indie, like as I watch the trailer, and like honestly, like that's the thing that I'm always looking for when it comes to like a licensed like product or game or something like that. Like, you know, just make the like show this the love that it, you know what I mean, deserves, you know what I mean? Like make this as much for the fans as you can, you know, and really just like show us like like make this authentically indie, and I think this is interesting because it feels unique in a genre of games that were based on Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? Like this whole genre exists because Indiana Jones is a thing, right? So then
Yeah,
you went to
Uncharted, yeah.
Lara Croft and you went to Uncharted
Yeah, Tomb
and
Raider.
like right, you know what I mean? And all of these games like have carved their own niche and they have created this genre which is based on them, and then now we have Indiana Jones, which is now inserting itself like into the because there's been Indiana Jones games before, but it's like certainly not a staple.
Yeah, I've
Um,
never played any.
but like now it's like inserting itself as this new thing in that genre that's like spawned as like a copy of Indiana Jones, but it is still unique, like in that space, and I think that's kind of cool.
I do too. I agree. It was a bold choice because, and I mean, I think they did it because if they just did a third person, it could have felt like an Uncharted copy, which ironically, Uncharted is an indie copy, so
Yeah.
that's why they call it the Great Circle.
Nice.
Um,
Instead of the full circle.
yeah, it just keeps going. Um, you what do you think of the sort of mechanics you see in the trailer? Like a lot of it appears to be a lot of puzzling and the first
I
person and everything with the
I
combat.
think I think this the puzzling aspect of it and hearing them talk about it like that's actually like one of my least favorite things to games. Like I'm not a big puzzle game player, and that might be what actually stops me from picking this up, but it'll probably be on Game Pass ascribed to anyway, so maybe I'll just check it out anyway. But um because I'm not a big puzzle gamer, but and so I don't usually play like those games either. I'm not big into the Uncharted or Tomb Raiders either. But it looks great. And I've played Zelda here and there. Like, I'm sure it'll be fun, and I'm sure they'll have like cool content locked behind those puzzles. I hope that they make it because they were saying that there's a bunch of there's puzzles tied to story missions, but there's also just puzzles you can just go off and find kind of thing. So I hope there's like unique and cool things hidden behind those puzzles to give you reasons to do them, and kind of like go back to and discover secrets because that's Indiana, right? He's the adventurous like, archaeologist, like secret discoverer, you know what I mean, guy, and it looks really cool. I hope there's like a that you can kind of like approach it how you would like, kind of, you know what I mean? Because that would kind of speak to me more. Like maybe I don't have to go and like in search of all these puzzles, you know what I mean? Maybe I can just kind of fight Nazis or whoever the Nazi equivalent is, you know what I mean, in this game. Like maybe I can just kind of go around adventuring or whatever. But to kind of lean it back to what you were asking, like I love how the mechanics work. I love how the whip works. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
all the utility it seems to have. You know what I mean for it. And I love that. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's the gun, and they'll probably be. I wonder how they'll be like sort of ammo management. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, probably like almost none.
yeah, I would imagine because like yeah, because Indy like rarely uses guns. He does have one. So like maybe that's like the last resort. You use the whip for everything, and you can kind of close up through punches and fists. Which is kind of interesting because I think this is the studio I believe that does Wolfenstein.
Hmm. That's a really
Um
good game. The original
yeah, you
and
know
the
what I mean?
remake.
Which is like that is like very gun heavy, and this is like kind of the opposite of it. Like they're both fighting
Mhm.
the Nazis, but and I think that's interesting.
Yeah,
Like I think it's interesting to see how they approach that. Like what lessons from Wolfenstein would they take into this? Or I mean, obviously they'll take some, but like it seems like it's a similar genre, but like just different game, like different approach. You know what I mean? Like different side of the spectrum, I guess I should say.
yeah, yeah. Well, Wolfenstein is like what if the Nazis won and Indy's like, yeah, let's not stop the Nazis from winning. Um, yeah, man, all great points and observations. I'm really excited about this game. While I was seeing the puzzle stuff, it sort of reminded me of that this game Mist. Uh, which is a really, really, really good old puzzle game. It's first person, just like this. But for a newer game reference, I guess like Portal.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, first person puzzle games are actually pretty rare in games. Um, much more often third person puzzles. Like you said, Zelda.
Mhm.
It's a great example. Um, super stoked on this. I'm probably most excited for the combat in this because also rare in games is a first person game where it heavily emphasizes melee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
it's really hard to pull off, uh, especially when you have uh enemies with guns. Um, and I'm just stoked. And we haven't, in my opinion, at least for me yet, given enough flowers to the incredible animation of this. Because like it, gosh, that just the opening shot with the guy with the bandage and the looks so good. It looks like you're looking at a film reel or whatever. And that alone is probably why I'll be picking up this game, just to have the experience of watching a movie while playing, just like the Uncharted. And actually, some me too. I prefer first person shooters over third person, and I'm now having this memory of a feeling I've had before. I'm like, because there's a lot of shooting in Uncharted, and I'm like, man, Uncharted would be a better first person shooter. So here we are now in this full circle.
Oh yeah, they're like, all right, well, let's make indie a better first person shooter.
Yeah, better as a first person shooter. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's interesting, like like the inevitable comparison to that this game will have with Uncharted and the other games of the genre. I think is interesting because indie, like this is will undoubtedly be like a narrative heavy experience, coupled with like gameplay that get goes with it, like which is typically has been like the PlayStation MO, like the PlayStation game, right? Like that's the
good
one
point.
they come out with every November, right? Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like whether it be Last of Us or one of the Uncharted's or why is that one? Or Spider Man, even. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like that's like their lunch bag right there. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
the narrative first person, what's that
Movie
word?
game.
Like movie game, exactly. I was trying to think of like cinematic like
Yeah,
experience, right?
yeah,
Like, but yeah, you know what I mean. And this like tends to be not, obviously we're in January, and you know what I mean. PlayStation has all year to like be like, hey, well, this is what we've been working on, and like it, yeah, I'm sure they got something, coming out this year. And I'm just gonna leave it empty, but I do think that is interesting. Like this is something that is typically like the PlayStation experience, but it is coming on Xbox this year, and it is coming to Game Pass too, which is interesting too. Um,
Do you think it's going to be a trendsetter? Do you think we're going to start seeing more Xbox movie games?
I think Xbox, since the Xbox One, and since like they had been buying, because they got like 20 something studios now, and the reason they've been trying to buy all these studios, and I think they've been trying to they recognize the lack of certain genres, and it's about them trying to like beef out like Game Pass, right? It's about them trying to make sure that like if you're paying for the subscription, like you have all the genres at your disposal. You're not like missing out on like this genre here, right, or this genre here, and like PlayStation constantly is pumping these out. So very much so, I think this is like a response to that. Um, and I think it's something that they've been trying to get to for a while, and this is probably just like the first studio that's come together and that's had a game like that, you know what I mean? Like, and we'll see how that kind of shakes out. I think that like talking about the greater developer direct that this news comes from, like they laid out basically like four um tentpole quarter games for this year. And they all hit like the different quarters and they're all coming together. So it's like kind of like I think that's like that basically they have four major releases coming to your subscription service this year, and I do think that is something that at least is something that they're going to try and replicate maybe year to year. Like, hey, every quarter this year, there's going to be something interesting and exciting for you to kind of chew on. And I would think that hopefully, like maybe like their every year their like their fall quarter or whatever, I would think it would be something like this, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that we you gave our audience here uh way more than a trailer reaction. I'm sure they appreciate it. Uh, Ladies and gents, if you're still with us, we'll hang tight for any last words. CJ, you got anything else you want to add?
No, not really. I think we've talked indie up enough. You know what I mean? Like, it looks cool. Like, I can't wait to see more, and you know, I'm sure I'll at least check it out.
Yeah, yeah. One little thing I thought that I've just remembered is like this isn't like a Lucasfilm game, but like there's been a lot of talk about how much Lucasfilm has fumbled their movies, but not their games. Uh, so I wonder how like that whole partnership, like how much Lucas was involved in this, and if they're how much money they're going to be getting from it. But the observation there's those uh what's that series called? Um, the Fallen Order series and
Mm.
the Survivor series. Uh,
Yeah,
that's those are great games.
yeah, yeah. They're killing
Killing it.
it.
All right, ladies and gents, that was Frack the Console. I was Tyler, that was CJ, and have yourself a great day.